Top of the morning to everybody. Okay, today I'm going to edit the Katia Pereira segments, but I'm going to show you a couple of other tidbits afterwards. Okay, so I went up to File, Open Library, because I'm now organizing every single client on a different library. So Katia Pereira is here. So I will go ahead and choose her. What that does is it opens up all the previous libraries that I've ever created in Final Cut Pro. And you can see here's one of my projects here, and over here is my bin or my event. I have a whole bunch of stuff in here. Actually, I mostly have a lot of these projects and stuff, but don't have too many clips. So what we'll do right now is we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and insert this card and start importing the video, and then we'll start editing it. Okay, so I've inserted the card and you see some video clips come up. I'm going to click on this so that I can see the clips themselves rather than, I don't like the list view. It's just not fun for me. Okay, one of the things I do when I shoot her segments is she does 3 at a time or 4 at a time. And after each one, I will mark them with bars for a second or two. So she did this one, it was kind of long. So she did this one here, and it was perfect time. Actually, this one had some bad audio. So she did this one again. Perfect time, everything was good. Marked it with bars. Same along here. This one's a good one. Marked it with bars. And this one, because it was the end, I didn't worry about marking it. So I only need these 3. I don't need all these others. These others will just waste space. So I hit import selected. I want them to go into Katia Pereira, and I hit import, and it starts importing. What I could have done was click on this close window after starting import. The reason I don't do this is because, well, sometimes I leave this window open because a lot of times I'll shoot 3 or 4 different projects on the same cards, and when I do that, I'll select these items and import them into one library, and then select these items and import them into another library, and these ones go into a third library, and so on and so forth. So a lot of times I don't use this, but for right now we'll just go ahead and close the window because it's done importing anyway. Okay, so here are my 3 segments down here, and I will create a new project. Okay, so actually I'm going to create 3 projects. There's one. Okay, that one was for the 20th, so the next one will be the 27th. That should work. Okay, so those are the 3 projects that I will be building today. All right, so I'm going to double click the first one, and it opens up on my other window. I will go ahead and take this. Actually, I'm going to work on the other window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, hit the letter E, and it will pop into the other one. So let's move over there. And as you can see, it popped right in over here. So we have it here. Kind of dark, but I think it's okay. We'll cut the front and back off of it so we can trim them down. And I'm always recording 4 channels, and I'm never needing 3 and 4. So let's toss them. Let's see how her audio is.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día.
A little high. So let's bring it down. Go to my audio tab. Let's take it down to -4. It might need to go down to -6, but let's see.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día. Buenas noticias para aquellas personas que aplicaron por el perdón provisional y se les fue negado porque...
Yeah, I think it's good. Okay. We might not need any color correction. Let's try it. Let's give her a little bit of, not audio enhancements. Okay, let's go into the video tab, and under correction 1, I'm just going to hit this little arrow thingy, and I'm going to give her a little bit of brightness right there. I think that should be, let's add some in the mids. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, time for the effect. Go in here, go under all, search for KAT, and I see all these lovely things. The one I need is Katia on white, Facebook, and Twitter, I think is what it says. So I just drag it, drop it in here. There's my effect. She's blocking her numbers a bit, so I'm going to go up here to the inspector, go away from the color adjustments, and in the pan X section, or position X, I can move her. Okay, now if I look, she's 22, 23 long. So we will grab one of these, doesn't matter which one, just a generator. Drop it in here. Let's see how long it is. 32, 23. So I need to cut this back, -2, 2, 3. If I go to the end, I'm right at 30. Perfecto. Okay, go back here. Let's go back to our effects. Search for cat with a K. And I got Pereira full screen. Okay, so I've got that, and then it's going to go into this. We need a transition. Let's go ahead and throw in this cross dissolve here. And let's lengthen it to 10 frames. All right. Okay, now if I come over here into my bin, I can see the different audio selections. Let's see it. I don't know if it's this one. Let's listen to this.
Este segmento es traído a ustedes por la...
No, that's not the right one. Let's do this one.
Este segmento es traído por la oficina legal de la licenciada...
That's the one. Okay, so I'll take this voice piece and I'll drag it from my bin and drop it down in here, give it a little space. All right, and then I grab my music. My audio, my music is this one. So I just grab my music and drop it in here as well. And this whole thing is done. All right, let's watch it.
Este segmento es traído por la oficina legal de la licenciada Katia Pereira.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día. Buenas noticias.
Okay, you notice it's a little choppy, not real smooth, and that's because it hasn't been rendered yet. But that's okay. I already know what it's going to look like. Okay, now the question that I've received is, yeah, that's all nice. You just grabbed a template and threw it down there, but you've already created that template. How do I create a template like this? And this is where we're going to have some fun. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up Motion, and I'm going to create a new project. Okay, so here's my project browser, and it gives me all these different things. Now what I've created here is called a Final Cut effect. If I click on it, it gives me some settings and things like that. I know that it's going to be 1920 by 1080, but it doesn't really matter since it's an effect, and the duration doesn't matter either. Unless there's some kind of a background or something that's moving, this duration will make no difference. In the case that we're going to use, the duration makes no difference at all. Okay, so this is my effect. I hit open. Okay, every time I open up Motion, it gives me 100% in my viewer, and I hate that. So I fit it. I go up here and I go to fit, and now I can see my viewer, the actual size that it should be to me. Okay, this effect source is what will eventually be used to have all the effects on it. But currently, we are going to use a different clip. I know that if I go in here to my Final Cut Pro libraries and right-click on Katia Pereira and Show Package Contents, I can see all the new stuff that I've got. Let's see, there should be original media right here. And let's go by date modified. Let's grab this one. This is the one we just used. So I don't need to open with anything. I'm going to grab it and drop it into Motion. And there she is. I'm not worried about the talking right now. I don't need to line it up or anything like that. All I need to do is work some effects on here. All right? So if I go to my inspector, or actually no, my library, I can see filters here, and the one I'm looking for first is keying. And I'm just going to grab this keyer, and what this keyer will do is remove the green. Okay, so my green is removed, and fortunately it was shot well enough that there's no fringe, there's no weird blurries or anything like that. It's nice and smooth. Okay, so I've got that. Now let's add a drop shadow. And actually, I think I can do the drop shadow right here. Properties, drop shadow. Here we go. If I add that drop shadow, does it add anything? Yes. Now my drop shadow needs to go in the direction of my lighting. And if you notice my lighting, especially around here, you'll notice that it's lighter on this side than this side, which means my harder light is falling from this direction. She also has a shadow on this side of her nose, which means my light is falling in this direction. So I need to turn the angle of my shadow to that side. And I find that 243 is about right. Okay, let's give it a little more distance and let's blur it a lot. Make it a little stronger. Let's do that. A little more distance. There we go. Cool. Okay, so now she has a shadow. Now, what we're going to do on this is we're going to remember these numbers. So we got 82, 86, 183. I like the 80s. Let's go 80, 80, 180. And this one will just go 243 is fine. No, you know what? I like that 236. I think that looked good. 80, 80, 180, 236. That'll be easy to remember. Okay. So that is the basic effect. Now let's say I wanted to add some text up here. This is really cool. If I come up here and I click and I add text, this is the text I will add. Let's make it, let's go to our text style and let's make this text yellow. And let's give it a different font. Let's go with Impact or something big and bold. Revolution, that's cool. Okay, let's go back to style. Let's give it an outline of black and a drop shadow 80, 80, 180. That's a little far. 236. Put it there. Okay, let's go back into the text format and let's make it, this is the text, and then I will add. Just like that. Let's put it centered. No, not just that. All of it centered. Okay. And the properties, let's move it. This is kind of where I had her text before. In fact, I'm going to bring it back this way so that I can show a little trick later on. Cool. Looks good. I know this is overlapping her, but I'm going to put her in front of it. Now let's say we wanted some more text. Let's duplicate that. Let's change it to, I will add this as well. Okay. Now let's do one more thing of text. I'm duplicating these. I'm going to bring this down here and say this is the text that will go in front of the subject for information. Okay. So I've got those three text things, right? These two are overlapping her face. But that is okay. Now remember, it's this effect source right here that we need to worry about. This part right here is actually going to disappear. So the effect source is the most important part. Okay? I'm going to grab this keyer and drop it on effect source. Let's go ahead and turn this off. Now, this is the text. These two. Okay, not this is the text that will go in front. We'll keep this text up in front, but these two need to actually drop behind the effect source. So they're not visible anymore. What will happen is when the effect source, when the key happens to the effect source, these will become visible. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind. Anything above it will always remain above it. Anything below it will remain behind it. Okay, so we've got the keyer in there. Now, a couple of other things that we need to do that are absolutely necessary. Sometimes when I shoot on green screen, I get some sides because my green screen doesn't fill the entire room. So I have to make sure I turn on the crop. I always crop a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. Let's just do 200 on each. And then what I'll do is I'll publish these in case I need to give it more. Okay? The other thing I need to do is in transform, I'm going to publish. Let's open this up. I don't want to move it up and down, but I do need to be able to move it left and right. So I'm going to publish the X. Okay? So those three things have been published. What that allows me to do is once the effect is done and I put her on there, it will allow me to move her left and right, and it will allow me to crop the sides left and right. Now, just in case, let's publish a couple of these things too. Okay, the keyer, let's do matte tools. Let's publish the shrink expand, the soften, the erode, and let's publish strength. No, I can't publish strength. We'll publish the fill holes as well. Okay, so those are things that can be adjusted once it's in Final Cut Pro. So if I go back to project, or if I click on this project thing right here, this shows me how my project is. But if I go to project up here, this shows me all the attributes that have been published. Now it's important to know that I can rename these. So if I wanted it to say left crop, well, it already says left crop, but if I wanted it to say crop left, I can do that. And it will say that in Final Cut Pro. Okay, so those are done. That's pretty easy. Now let's go ahead and save this. I will save it as Katia sample. Now the important thing to note is that when I'm making an effect and I put text in it, I cannot change that text. It's extremely important to know that. Only in titles and generators will I be able to change the text, but in effects I will not be able to change the text. Okay, so I'm going to add this as a new category. We'll call it Katia Pereira. And let's do another new theme. Katia Pereira. I don't want to include unused media, but I will save a preview, and let's go ahead and publish. Okay, now it's publishing, and it's going to kind of calculate some things for me. All right, so now this is done publishing or saving. We'll go ahead and quit motion. And just as a sample, I'm going to grab this other clip of Katia. Come on, Final Cut Pro, be nice. We'll just drop this in here. Okay, now if I go to my effects and I search for KAT, I'll find this one. Okay, and I can just drag it and drop it in. Now, I didn't put a background on this. On this one I had a background. I put it in myself. Or no, I put it into the effect. This one I did not. This one I just kind of left it that way. You can put in whatever background you want. If I wanted to put in a completely different background, I can do that. Let's grab a generator real quick just to kind of show you. Let's just throw this behind her just for fun. Look at that. She's on this grungy wall. Isn't that awesome? But look, you can see the shadow behind the text. You can see there should be a shadow behind her. Although I don't see it very strong. Let's try it on, let's put her on white instead. Yeah, I'm not seeing the shadow come up, but it comes up usually. Generator. Let's put her on white. But what's cool is, if I go to the video, not left crop, I can move the X position like that, back and forth. So that's why I didn't mind that the letters overlapped her, because one, they were going to the back, and second, I was going to be able to move it. So that's what I did. So now what you've learned is how to create an effect to be able to do an automatic key and put in a background if you desire, and add your own text and things that will never change. In the case of Katia Pereira's, all this stuff stays the same every single time. So all I do, this is basically the same effect. All I do is drop it in, and then I can, over here, I can crop it, turn the crop on and off, adjust it, adjust some of the key features or key effects, attributes, and I can move her. Okay, ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls, I noticed something when I was doing the sample effect. And remember I said there was a okay, so I put a background on here and I couldn't see the drop shadow, right? So here's my background, no drop shadow. There's no drop shadow because I forgot to add it to the effect source. I remembered all those numbers for nothing. So here's what we'll do. We right click on the effect and we go open in motion. Okay, so here's my effect. Now, what I didn't do was I didn't go into my inspector here I didn't click on effect source and go into my inspector. And then I needed to go to properties and go down past, or actually just above crop, where it says drop shadow. I needed to click here and I needed to put in my numbers. Remember those numbers? 80, 80, 180, 236. Okay? We won't see the drop shadow here. But once it's saved, okay, and then once it's saved, we just quit motion. And let's go into this clip again right here, because it shouldn't change. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, it didn't change it. So if I go to my video, not audio, video, and I see this Katia sample effect, I can actually delete it. And then let's try grabbing it and dropping it again. And look at that, there's a drop shadow. So that's what I was missing the entire time. I noticed something when I was done with these Katia Pereira segments today. Let me show you how the audio should sound.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día. Este es el mes de la prevención en contra de los notarios.
See how nice she sounds? Nice and clear. Now listen to this.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día. Buenas noticias.
Sounds like she's talking through a phone, or that it's somehow phased.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día.
Well, I checked to see if it was phased by turning one audio channel off, and I got this.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día.
Sounds exactly the same. So it's not phased, it just has a weird high-pitched sound from the original recording. Not sure why. So there's this little thing just above the channel configuration that has audio enhancements. And if you come up here, you should see equalization. I put it as flat, but you can click on this and get a graphic equalizer. So I'm going to play this and I'm going to mess with it.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día. Buenas noticias para aquellas personas que aplicaron por el perdón provisional y se les fue negado porque tenían un récord criminal. A partir del 18 de marzo, todos estos casos han sido reabiertos por el Servicio de Inmigración y en los próximos 60 días estarán emitiendo una nueva decisión en su caso. Le deseo mucha suerte. Hasta la próxima semana.
Este segmento es traído por la oficina legal de la licenciada Katia Pereira.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día. Buenas noticias para aquellas personas que aplicaron por el perdón provisional y se les fue negado porque tenían un récord criminal. A partir del 18 de marzo, todos estos casos han sido reabiertos por el Servicio de Inmigración y en los próximos...
It says edited. I'm wondering... Nah, I'll just leave it like that. Okay, now let's look at the levels and see how much we've affected the levels.
Bienvenidos a
Quite a bit. I do need to bring them down, so I'm going to bring them down to -7. Let's see how good they sound then.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día. Buenas noticias para aquellas personas.
There's a little bit of distortion down on the bottom end, but that's just because I had to crank it so high in order for it to work. So I'm going to go ahead and fix these other two because she still sounds weird on them too.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración.
Sounds like she's talking through a phone. So it's easy. You just go up just above the channel configuration, click on this little icon, and you get a graphic equalizer, and you can sit here and mess with it. You can do 10 bands or 31 bands if you want. 31's a little much right now. It's just a voice.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día. Al partir del primero...
Sounds so much better. Let's check the levels.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día. Al partir del 1 de marzo hay una...
This one can actually stand to go up. So let's take it up to 0.
Bienvenidos a Inmigración al Día. Al partir del 1...
Very nice. Okay, now let's go to this one because I know this one's messed up as well. I don't know why it did this on these particular recordings, but it did. It's very strange.
Hablemos de inmigración.
All right, let's go to the EQ. Boom.
Permiso de trabajo o tiene la residencia, usted debe de hacer sus impuestos. La fecha límite es este 15 de abril. ¿Debemos darle a Dios lo que es de Dios?
Get back here.
De inmigración. ¿Sabía usted que los
Let's raise that one too.
inmigrantes, sin importar nuestro estatus migratorio, debemos hacer impuestos? Si usted está indocumentado, tiene permiso de trabajo o tiene la residencia, usted debe de hacer...
Good. All right, I'm going to re-export these things, and we should be done. So I just wanted to show you the little graphic EQ thing that Final Cut Pro X has. Let you see it, let you kind of see how it works, hear how it works, why I would need to use it. And I'd like to thank you very much for watching.